What's up, DFS players? Alex here, and I have one NBA player prop, one MLB player prop, 4 prize picks today. So one player prop for NBA Finals Game 4, and then one MLB prop. So a ton of entries open on PrizePicks. This one going very well. We need Curry over 2.5 turnovers, Klay Thompson over 3 rebounds, and we will cash this 4-pick entry. Tons of other open ones, a lot of them looking good from today, from some of the PrizePicks player props I gave out. So hopefully we can keep it going. So let's go through our player props. If you remember, in game 3, we had Curry over 2.5 turnovers. This cashed like crazy. We won $1,000 here, we won $1,000 here, and we won $1,000 here. And guess what? I'm going with it again. So if we see the OddsJam positive EV tool will show us all the profitable player props on PrizePicks. We can see Curry over 2.5 turnovers is minus 180. On Pinnacle Sportsbook, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, they're pricing this all the way at minus 180, right? So the sportsbooks have this over heavily juiced, which implies that Curry over 2.5 turnovers is pretty likely to hit. So this is why it's so critical to compare the lines you're getting on PrizePicks to the lines you are getting on the sportsbooks, right? When you see an over that is juiced all the way up to minus 180 on Pinnacle Sportsbook, which is the sharpest, most efficient betting market that takes the most volume, you know that being able to play this on PrizePicks is very, very good value, right? So we've been through this before, but the way that PrizePicks works is pretty fascinating, right? Any 2 picks we select, we're just getting the same odds plus 200. Doesn't matter if we take the overs or the unders. It doesn't matter if we change this Eric Fetty guy to Zach Gallen. 20 to win 60. 2 picks, 20 to win 60, right? So your payout doesn't change depending on the 2 picks you select. So that means you want to look for picks using OddsJam where the overs are heavily juiced on bookmakers, especially Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, to figure out where there's value, right? We've gone through the math in other videos, but essentially on PrizePicks, you need to be winning your player props at least 57.74% of the time to break even. If you're winning your player props 60% of the time, 65% of the time, you'll be very profitable. If you're winning your player props on PrizePicks 50% of the time, you'll be very unprofitable, right? And that's because any 2-pick entry on PrizePicks ends up just being plus 200 odds, plus 200 odds for any 2-pick entry. So what you want to do is you want to use the OddsJam positive EV tool to find 2 picks where there's value on PrizePicks, which the tool will show you, right? So Curry over 2.5 turnovers. We can see right here, Pinnacle is pricing the over at minus 180, the under at plus 132. So if we put this into a 0 vig odds calculator, so what this calculator does is it essentially takes a sportsbook's betting market, their over and their under, and it tells you the win probability for each bet based on the sportsbook's model. So if you removed the juice, you removed the vig, the spread from the sportsbook's market, what would the fair win probability and the fair price be for the over and the under? So we can see putting in Pinnacle's market for Curry over under 2.5 turnovers. They have the over all the way up at minus 180, so the over heavily juiced. This over is hitting 59.86% of the time, right? The under is hitting 40.14% of the time. So the over is a fair price of minus 149. So again, you need to be hitting your PrizePicks player props over 57.74% of the time to be profitable. And we can see this PrizePicks, player prop is hitting at a rate of 59.86%. So it's a very profitable player prop on PrizePicks. So that's the first pick I'm going with. I already have it in another entry, but I'm rolling with it again. Now the second prop I have is, let's go here, Eric Fetty over under 4.5 strikeouts, right? So if you look right here, you can see there's a big pricing discrepancy between the only 2, operators that have released odds for the MLB strikeouts markets tomorrow, at least in the state I'm in, Arizona. If I switch this to another state, maybe I'll see more books. No, I won't. Right? So FanDuel is pricing the under for Eric Fedde under 4.5 strikeouts at -168. So the under is heavily juiced. So this is a great prop to include in your PrizePicks entry. And if you actually look at his stats, he's averaging over his last 15 games, less than 3 strikeouts a game. Last 15 games, he has 43 strikeouts, right? So he's averaging less than 3 strikeouts a game. So this is another incredible value player prop on PrizePicks. So we're taking Curry over 2.5 turnovers, which we also took in game 3 and literally made a boatload of money off. And then we're taking Fedde under 4.5 strikeouts. This pick was from the low holds page. Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, which we use to calculate EV bets on the positive EV page, they haven't released odds for MLB player props tomorrow, but we can see right here, if we go to, there's a big line discrepancy we can see in the MLB props market between FanDuel and PrizePicks, right? FanDuel, they take a lot more action than PrizePicks does. They're a much more efficient betting market, right? PrizePicks doesn't even change the odds depending on if you select the over or the under, right? FanDuel is normal, and they do, right? All sportsbooks do, because it doesn't really make sense to price the overs and the unders in the exact same way. It doesn't ever make sense, especially for player props, which is why PrizePicks is, pretty easy to make money off of. So I hit it for $500. Curry over 2.5 turnovers, Fedde under 4.5 strikeouts, sharp, mathematically profitable player props for tomorrow. 18K, 17, what can we hit tomorrow? We'll see. We'll see what we can do in less than a month joined. Let's make some money.